In this lesson, we will discuss some common indicators of compromise. In the world of cybersecurity, indicators of compromise, commonly referred to as IOCs, are pieces of forensic data that identify potentially malicious activity on a network or system. These IOCs serve as the digital evidence that a security breach has occurred. These indicators of compromise include things like account lockouts, concurrent session usage, blocked content, impossible travel, resource consumption, resource inaccessibility, out-of-cycle logging, public/slash documenting that you've been hacked, and missing logs. First, we have account lockouts. An account lockout is a common indicator of compromise that occurs when an account has been locked out due to multiple failed login attempts. This could indicate a brute force attack that was attempted by a hacker who was trying to gain access by guessing the user's password. For example, if an account is locked out after numerous unsuccessful login attempts in a short period, it is usually a clear sign that someone is trying to break into the account. Account lockout policies vary among different systems. Some systems may lock out an account after a certain number of attempts of failed logins, while others may increase the delay between login attempts after each failure to effectively slow down the attacker and make a successful brute force attack much more impractical. The duration of the account lockout will also vary depending on your system. Some systems may implement a temporary lockout, where the account is automatically unlocked after a certain period of time, such as 15 minutes or 4 hours or some time-based reset. Other high-security systems may require a manual intervention by an administrator to unlock the account to ensure that the suspicious activity is investigated prior to the account being unlocked. While account lockout is a valuable security feature, it must be balanced with usability. Overly strict account lockout policies can lead to increased support calls and frustrated users. For example, if an account is locked after 3 failed attempts, a user could be locked out simply by mistyping their password. So it is important to weigh the security benefits against the possible user inconvenience that a low lockout threshold may create. Second, we have concurrent session usage. Concurrent session usage refers to multiple active sessions from a single user account. This could indicate that the account has been compromised and is being used by an attacker while the legitimate user is logged in. For example, if an employee is logged into their account from their office computer, but another session from a different location is active at the same time, it's a strong indication of a security breach. In this example, it could have been a false positive since an employee could be logged in from different devices. However, exercising caution is important here because if one session is in the United States while the other active session is happening from Europe, then it is a good sign that a compromise has occurred. Third, we have blocked content. Blocked content is another indicator of compromise that refers to attempts to access or download content that has been blocked by security protocols. This could indicate a user trying to access malicious content or an attacker trying to download sensitive data. For example, if there are repeated attempts to download a blocked file, it could suggest that a user's account has been compromised and is being used to steal data. Fourth, we have impossible travel. Impossible travel is a unique indicator of compromise that involves detecting logins from geographically distant locations within a specific time frame that makes physical travel between those locations impossible to achieve. For example, if a user account logs in from New York and then from London within an hour, there's a good chance that an account compromise has occurred because a single user cannot travel from New York to London in less than 5 or 6 hours by taking a plane. Often, you will see impossible travel and concurrent sessions usage grouped together since they often, but not always, occur simultaneously. Fifth, we have resource consumption. Unusual spikes in resource consumption, such as CPU, memory, or network bandwidth, can serve as a good indicator of compromise. This excessive resource utilization can indicate a malware infection or a distributed denial of service attack or DDoS attack that is concurrently underway. For example, if a server that typically uses 20% of its CPU capacity and then suddenly jumps to 90%, it could be a good sign that the server is under attack or has been compromised. Another example would be if you're browsing the web on your workstation and your GPU usage is at 90%. This is a good indication that the system may be a zombie and has been enrolled as a crypto mining agent or performing some other kind of computational resource-heavy task for a threat actor, both of which have become very popular attacks in recent years. Sixth, we have resource inaccessibility. Resource inaccessibility refers to the inability to access certain resources such as files, databases, or network services. This could indicate a ransomware attack where an attacker encrypts a victim's files and demands a ransom for their release. For example, if a user suddenly cannot access these files and receives a ransom note, this is an obvious and clear sign that they are a victim of a ransomware attack. Seventh, we have an out-of-cycle logging. Out-of-cycle logging refers to log entries that occur at unusual times, such as late nights or on weekends where no one is expected to be working. This type of out-of-cycle logging usually indicates that an attacker is trying to hide their activities during off-peak hours. For example, if their log entries show activity at 3 a.m. when the office is typically closed, this could suggest that a security breach has occurred on the network. 8. We have missing logs. Missing logs, like out-of-cycle logging, is another sign that a compromise has occurred. Attackers often delete to hide their activities and make it harder for investigators to trace the attacker's footsteps through the network. For example, if a system's logs suddenly have a gap of several hours or days, this might suggest that an attacker has been tampering with the logs to cover their tracks. 9th, and finally, we have published articles or documents that your organization has been hacked. Sometimes an attacker will publicly disclose that they hacked a system either to boast about their skills or cause reputational damage to the organization. This type of publishing can occur on social media, hacker forums, in a newspaper article, or even on a victim's own website. For example, if a company's website is defaced with the message claiming that the hacktivism group was responsible for the attack, this is obviously a clear sign that your website has been compromised. So remember, recognizing these indicators of compromise is crucial to your success as a cybersecurity professional. Indicators of compromise are the evidence includes left behind by a threat actor that can provide us insights and some early warning signs of potential breaches so that we can act swiftly to contain and mitigate any damage. However, it is important to remember that not all indicators of compromise necessarily means that a compromise has occurred. Instead, there are hints or clues that something has happened, and it's still up to us to decide if it is a true compromise or if it was simply the result of a system error, or it was a legitimate user activity, or it is simply a false positive. For this reason, you will spend a lot of your time as a cybersecurity professional combing through event logs to determine if an event was really part of a compromise or not.